The AT Pro has 12 segments, or notches, of discrimination. Any combination of these segments can be switched on or off based upon your preference. There are two primary methods for modifying the notch discrimination pattern to reject unwanted items. The first method is to use the Notch Discrim and Elim buttons to manually modify the lower scale's notch discrimination pattern. Use the plus or minus Notch Discrim buttons to move the target ID cursor to the left or right. Next, press the Elim button to activate or eliminate the pixel located on the lower scale, directly below the target ID cursor. The second method of modifying the notch discrimination pattern involves the use of only the Elim push button. When an unwanted target is audibly detected while hunting, simply push the Elim button to create a notch at that target ID cursor. The next time the AT Pro encounters the same trash item, it will not produce an audible signal. One good use for notch discrimination is to find a specific item that you're looking for. An example of this would be, let's say my wife was outside and she lost one of her favorite gold earrings. Let me just walk through a little scenario here and just show you how this would play out. We've got a couple of gold earrings right here, and if she was to lose one and I still had the other one, what I would do is I'd want to scan this and see what this reads. So I'll just set it on the ground right there and I'll go over it. I've got a reading kind of around 56, 60. So I'm going to go in here and notch out what I don't want to find. I want to get down to that specific reading and look for that particular lost item. So what I'll do is put a notch either side of where I expect it to be. So I've got about where it hits and maybe a pixel or two either side, so I've got a little bit of range, because like anything else, it can change whether it's standing up or laying on its side depending on what its orientation is. I don't know how it was lost there. So I'm just going to verify kind of what I've got for my settings and basically bracket where I want that to be. And I'm going to run my iron discrim all the way up to 40 because I know I'm not looking for iron. This is reading in the middle of the road. So I've got this set about where I want it to be. Now, again, this is just a demonstration, but if my wife had lost the earrings, let's say she was over here on the swing and it was lost out there somewhere, I'm going to take this and I'm going to just pitch it over there and not know exactly where it goes, just as if I knew it's somewhere lost in this general vicinity. So here we go, I'll toss it over there in those weeds. And I've got my settings notched out to just one little bracket of where I think that should hit based on the other one that we still have. And I'm going to go in search of the lost earring using this notch discrimination. And you would probably work some kind of a pattern through here, go back and forth and crisscross the area really well. Use string if you need to make sure you cover the ground thoroughly. And expand out from there. If you don't find it where you think it's going to be, just keep expanding your search. And just keep it slow and careful. You know, I don't know exactly where I pitched it. It's somewhere in this weed bed or through these leaves here. And there we go. I've got something that's hitting right there in the high 50s, just like the other one did. And right off the end of this coil tip, there's my earring. So we've done this little demonstration here using notch discrimination to find a specific target. We knew what it was. We knew a very tight range of where it fell. We tightened up our discrim, just left on 3 of the pixels right around bracketing where we thought it would be. And we moved in and effectively found the item. You can use this for other items that you're looking for, basically just eliminating what you don't want to find and narrowing down the range of what you can find with that discrimination. The AT Pro also features a high-resolution iron discrimination adjustment. This level can be adjusted from 0, no iron discrimination, to 40, maximum iron discrimination. Use the plus or minus iron disc buttons to adjust the iron discrimination up or down. The small two-digit number above the words iron disc on the LCD indicates the current setting. One of the important features of the AT Pro International is the fact that it has 40 points of high-resolution iron discrimination. That's important when you're hunting in the fields or anywhere where you might encounter a lot of iron debris, such as nails or any other item that you don't want to dig. Those can mask or cover up a good target. Some people call that target masking, some people call it iron masking. In either event, you want to lose the junk items but still keep the good items that could be hidden amongst it. In this case, I've got my iron discrim set on 00, no discrimination right now. And here's a square nail that I dug recently. When I scan it, it reads 22, 23, 24, anywhere in that range. Now I've also got a little hammered coin that I dug yesterday. And if I scan this, it reads around 43 or 44. So if I had hammered coins lying amongst a bunch of iron square nails, I'd want to lose the square nails if possible, but yet not lose these targets that are only just a little more conductive. Now for an example, if I ran the iron all the way up to 40, which is the maximum iron discrim, I've lost the square nail successfully. It's gone, I'm not picking it up. But now if I put in my coin target with the square nail, I've also pretty much lost that because I've got in so much iron discrimination. So let's try going back a little bit and using that high-res iron resolution. Let's set in just what we need. So I'm going to run it back down to, about 24, since that's about what we were reading. Still getting just an occasional click of iron, so I'll go up another notch. Pretty much gone to the point where I would not dig that target. Just a click here and there. I could put in another click if I wanted to, make it a little bit quieter. And now if I put this nail on top of this coin as if it's lying amongst iron, just like this, and go back over it, I'm still getting a solid signal there. That's definitely something above the point of what I've discriminated. So I've got a good coin target lying amongst iron in the worst scenario you could encounter, and I'm still able to detect it because I have this high resolution 40 points of iron discrimination. So that's the value, working over a trashy site, losing the worst of the trash, and still being able to pull a good target from amongst that iron. One other feature to point out about this high-res iron discrimination is using it in conjunction with iron audio on the AT Pro International. Now it just showed by putting it at 26, I'm still able to lose the nail, and yet the nail and the coin together, their combined conductivity are good enough for me to pick up. Now with the iron audio, when you engage that, it's going to make any target above your point of discrimination sound like a good target, either a mid-tone or a high tone. So right now, if I just put on iron audio and put the nail back, I'm hearing that iron grunt sound that indicates it's an iron target. Now by having the iron nail and the coin together and the iron audio on, listen to it again. I'm getting the broken sound of some iron in there, the low tone of iron, but I'm also clearly getting a higher tone, a mid-tone. That tells me there's something with that iron, that thing that I've discriminated out, that might be worth digging right there. So again, the 40 points of iron resolution, combine that with the iron audio, and you've got two powerful key elements there to use with the AT Pro International. The AT Pro also includes an iron audio feature that can be used both in the standard and in the Pro modes. Iron audio allows you to hear discriminated iron targets, which would normally be silent. Simply press and release the iron audio button to switch this feature on or off. When it is on, the words iron audio appear on the LCD. The low tone for iron is normally heard for any target whose target ID value is below 35. When iron discrimination is used, all targets below the setting in this case 20, are silent. Only targets between 20 and 35 will produce the low tone for iron. Iron audio allows you to adjust the range of your midtone. The midtone now starts at your point of discrimination, which is 20 in this case. With iron audio in use, the low tone for iron is heard for targets that ID below your discrimination point. To make sense of this, let's demonstrate with this iron nail. It reads as high as 25, so I run my high-res iron discrim setting up to 26 to lose this target. With iron audio off, this nail is not reported audibly at all, or is, at best, a very broken signal. When I turn on iron audio, everything below my setting of 26 is a low tone, so this discriminated iron sounds off loud and clear. By changing my midtone range using iron audio, anything I find now with a target ID value above 26 will sound as either a medium tone or high tone. Hearing the discriminated iron can really make a difference. The iron audio feature is even more impressive at identifying bottle caps. Since they are flat and have pretty good conductivity, they can trick some detectors into thinking they are a coin or some other good target. Start with the AT Pro in standard 0 mode and pass the bottle cap parallel to the search coil as if the bottle cap is lying flat on the ground. Note that the target response is consistent with the audio of a good target. Then switch the detector into Pro 0 mode and move the bottle cap past the coil again. Note the subtle low tones at the beginning and end of the target response, indicating a questionable target that might be made of iron. Finally, set the iron discrim to 35, switch on iron audio, and check this target again. The distinctive low, high, low response now indicates a target that is unmistakably iron. Now that you've learned a little bit about the different tones that your AT Pro International makes, let's actually look at some real targets on the ground. Let's go over it in both the standard mode and the Pro mode, and then also use iron audio to listen to the different sounds over 3 common targets here. So the 3 targets we have here are an iron square nail, a small bronze coin, and then a larger silver coin to demonstrate the 3 different tones. I'm going to go over this first in standard in 0 mode, and I've just got very little discrimination set. So let's listen to the 3 targets and the 3 different sounds in standard mode first. First, the iron nail. Then the small bronze coin. Medium tone. And the larger silver coin. Got a bell tone there. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to click real quick over to Pro mode, also in 0 with very little discrim, and go over the same targets again. Iron. Again, low tone. Small bronze. A proportionate sound. Small, fainter sound, but a good medium tone still. And then the larger silver coin. That now has a high tone. This is again a high tone or a silver item in the Pro mode, as opposed to how it would sound in standard. I'll click back over. You've got the bell tone, or in the Pro mode, the high items, high conductivity items have a high tone. Let's go over these 3 targets here, the iron nail, the small bronze coin, and the large silver coin, first in standard mode and then in the Pro mode, and then we'll go back over them again with the iron audio on so you can hear them. First standard with the iron discrim setting of 25. Low tone on the iron. Mid tone on the bronze coin again. And on the end, silver has the bell tone. If I went to the Pro mode, that same silver coin at the end would now have a high tone. instead of the bell tone. The bronze coin still has a proportionate medium tone based on how close you are to it or how large of an item it is. And the iron still has a scratchy low tone. And if I go back over these with iron audio added, the nail will sound a lot more distinctively like a junk target because it's going to have a lot of that discriminated iron sound. Much more distinctive. The medium bronze coin still sounds pretty clean. It's a low conductivity item, but it still gives you a clean mid-tone. And the silver coin, nice, clean, clear, high tone. And if I went back over these in the standard mode, bell tone, medium tone, and clearly an iron junk target with iron audio in standard mode. Okay, so you notice the difference in these three targets between standard and pro on the tone ID, and then when you add the iron audio, there's a definite sound difference on the iron object that's been discriminated. So that's just a little demonstration to give you an idea of how those tones work to check out a target. Not all iron targets can be easily eliminated just by increasing your iron discrimination. This can be due to variables such as the target's size, its thickness, and its orientation in the ground. When you find a target with questionable or inconsistent target ID, use the iron audio feature to help determine if it contains discriminated iron.
Big iron.
To demonstrate how an iron target's orientation can change its target ID, let me scan over this rusty nail. Scanned parallel to the center line of the DD coil, it reads between 7 and 10. However, if I approach the same nail with it perpendicular to the center line of the DD search coil, the same target reads as high as 33. To avoid digging such an item, I have two choices. First, I can further increase my iron discrim to eliminate or mostly eliminate this target from all directions. Or I can simply switch on my iron audio feature and check the target. Because I can hear the discriminated iron, I know this target is composed at least partially of iron. Therefore, it is not a silver, gold, or bronze coin that I'm hoping to find, and I can just ignore digging it up.